Apartment hunting in Miami? Here's what most people get wrong and how you can get it right. With over 5,000 active rentals here in Miami as we record this video, finding the perfect Miami apartment can feel overwhelming. And with 98% of renters beginning their search online, it's clear that knowing how this process works is essential. In this video, I'll walk you through 3 common mistakes that renters are making and how you can avoid them. The 3 common mistakes that we're going to go over in this video are not having the proper documents, not setting a clear and specific criteria, and underestimating move-in costs. Plus, we'll go over a few additional tips at the end to help you have a smooth process. Here's a common scenario. Most people wait until the last minute to gather all the documents, or when they find a place that they love and they want to submit a contract to lease, which is the initial offer before you get the lease, to gather all the documents and put them together with the offer. In this instance, you're going to be left scrambling. There's going to be additional stress, maybe a little chaos, and you may even miss out on having or making an offer and closing the deal on a perfect apartment. And obviously, I don't want that for you. Now, if we're working together, in our consultation, I've already submitted to you the list of documents we're going to need in order to prepare any offer for you. If you're not working with me, I'm going to give you a list of these documents. That way you're ready for your next rental. Keep in mind that landlords typically can change their mind, and they do change their mind. So this is just a rough template based on the most common questions and things that they ask for. You're going to need a state or government issued ID or driver's license. They're going to ask you for 2 most recent pay stubs, 2 most recent tax forms. They're also going to ask you for 3 most recent bank statements. You also should have a copy of your credit score and a copy of your background check. One bonus would be an employment letter stating that you obviously have an employment, whether it's working remotely or in-office hybrid position, to the landlord. That way they can feel secure that, hey, look, you're moving from one state. You have no other references locally. So therefore, it will give the landlord a better understanding of who you are and what you're bringing. That way they can further trust you and say, hey, look, I want to rent with you guys when you make the offer. I wouldn't worry too much about the background and credit history check, because oftentimes the landlord, they're going to ask you to run a separate check, which they're going to charge you $75, $150, depending on whether it's a landlord or building. Because if you move to a condo building that has an association, they're going to charge you an application fee, and we'll get into the fees later. But having the ID, the bank statements, the W-2s or 1099s, tax forms, as well as any credit history showing your name is really going to help you smooth the process. That way, when you do find the perfect place, you can prepare the offer immediately and submit. If you want a copy of the PDF that we use, feel free to send me an email requesting this PDF, and I'll be more than happy to send it to you. That way you have a checklist to make your process smoother. Now that we got the documents out of the way, let's talk about one of the biggest surprises for renters, especially in Miami, more so in Brickell than other places, are move-in costs. In most cases, landlords are going to require a security deposit equivalent to 1 month's rent. They're also going to require the first month and the last month. Let's say you found this incredible 1-bedroom, 1-bath here in Miami for $3,000 a month. So therefore, you're going to have to bring $9,000 with you total at the time of the move-in. If you're working with a landlord and you have an agent and the landlord has their agent, once you guys come to an acceptance with the contract to lease, which is the offer, then once that's accepted and executed, they're going to give you a lease. Once lease is signed, it's going to say what the terms are and what money is due when. So therefore, typically the first month's rent or some type of security is due to be held in an escrow account, an uninterested third party, as soon as you sign the lease. That way, this takes the unit off market and reserves it for you. If you're moving to a special building, predominantly in Brickell or some other buildings here in Miami, it doesn't stop at 3 months. Even times for houses, it doesn't stop at 3 months, depending on the situation. Again, each one, whether it's an HOA or a landlord, can vary. So we're just going over what the general criteria is and the most often things that we see here in Miami for Miami rentals. But going back to Brickell or other buildings in Miami, the association may also want 1 month's equivalent of rent for a common area deposit. So if the building is looking for that, you just went from 3 months to 4 months, from $9,000 to $12,000, all up front. Now, there are other ways to negotiate this with a landlord. If you're open to learning more about that, just send me a text and I'll be sure to answer and give you any additional information that you're looking for. In addition to that, there's also going to be move-in fees, administrative fees, elevator fees. Let's just take a look right here. I do a lot of rentals here in Miami. So yesterday I went to a rental building. Here's just a little sheet. They list the little fees. There's an administrative fee of $150. They have a one-time fee for the car registration of $200. They have a $350 administrative fee. Great news is their security deposit is only $500. And if you really want to move in somewhere and not pay 3 months up front, contact me. We can get you as low as $99, but there are some certain criteria and other things that need to be met. So if you're interested about that, feel free to reach out and we can talk about that elsewhere. So these are just some of the fees that you're looking for. Other things you're going to pay for utilities in the building that are separate from, which is FPL is our electric company. You're also going to pay for internet, you're going to pay trash. You're going to pay renter's insurance, which is $18 a month, depending on the terms of coverage. Another thing to note is rental buildings, they're going to charge you for water. And then if it's a landlord or an HOA building, the water is going to be included. From the rental building that I went to yesterday, as an example, the trash is $28 a month. Pest control, $5 a month. Parking, $100 a month. The other day, I went to a place in downtown Miami. Parking was $175 per month. Keep that in mind. Some additional fees are going to be pet fees, or maybe they're going to have a common area fee, which could be $35, $50, depending on the building. Typically more in rental buildings than just regular condo buildings with an HOA when you're renting from a landlord. Typically rental buildings or buildings in general, they're going to have a 2-pet maximum. Also, there are some buildings that have pet restrictions, more so in weight or the type of breed. And just going to read this from the list right here on the top. The breed restrictions for this building, as an example: no pit bulls, American Pit Bull Terriers, Staffordshire Terrier, Dalmatian, Doberman, Pinscher, I don't understand, Rottweiler, German Shepherd, Chows, Akitas, or mix of Husky. So that's just an example there. I love dogs, so what dog is really dangerous? But you get the idea. And then they're also going to charge you probably an administrative fee to collect the information of the pets in part of the application, and they're going to charge you per month. Probably $25 per pet or $50 total. So just to compare the rental building or the regular building that's in Brickell or Miami as a whole, is you're going to pay $9,000, $12,000 plus an elevator fee and any application fee, which is roughly $125, or you can pay less for a one bedroom, such as like this example that we used. The one bedrooms were with a den $3,000. So you're actually going to pay $7,200 because they don't require a full security deposit of 1 month. So we've went over documents, we've went over move-in cost. Now let's get into criteria. Miami has more than 30 neighborhoods and multiple property types. So defining your criteria is going to be an essential part of this process. First, we're going to look at your budget. And so we want you to have a budget. That way, once we focus on the budget, we can then move on to the lifestyle that you want to live here in Miami, and we can focus further from there. For example, if you're moving from out of town, or maybe it's your second year in Miami and you don't want to buy, or you're used to living in an urban core, so you're going to want to move to Brickell, or maybe even Edgewater. If you're looking for something more relaxed, or maybe it's your first year moving to Miami from elsewhere, and you want to be close to the beach, you're definitely going to go to South Beach. But South Beach has 1920s, 1930s styles apartments. And if you do find places on West Ave or Ocean Drive, some of them are going to be old, some of them are going to be great, full luxury buildings. We're looking at Continuum, Icon, Morano Grande. We'll also have the Flamingo, Bentley, you name it. Like, so if it's on the bay or if it's on the Atlantic Ocean, incredible. If it's on the interior of South Beach, not so much. If you're looking for a community feel, say you're moving from a single family home out of state and you're looking for a single family home, we can definitely find you a single family home. And we would even say Shenandoah, Coconut Grove, Coral Gables. You can go to Miami Shores, and there are a bunch of other places, even Doral, that gives you that great vibe and sense of community. In our consultations, we literally ask these things. That way we can match up what you're looking for, what you're hoping to achieve, your dreams, lifestyle, and we can sync up everything from the budget, lifestyle, parks, how much commute time you're looking for, or maybe you're going to work from home remotely, whatever it is, you have a hybrid. Recently, we just actually found somebody a house in a great location, and it's 5 blocks or 10 blocks from their house, but there's a trolley that picks them up on the corner, takes them to the office, and then they can go back home. It's actually kind of fun to sync up and link what you're looking for with what Miami has to offer. So let me know. The next thing to consider is your long-term plans. Are you only coming to Miami for 1 year? Are you looking for 2 years, 5 years, 7 years, or longer? We bring this up because the Miami market is a strong market. So if you're coming to Miami and you're looking to stay for longer than 2 to 3 years, we would actually suggest buying a home or an apartment, pretty much a home or something that doesn't have an HOA, depending on what you're looking for, your criteria, your lifestyle, your budget. Because the home equity and price appreciation in Miami is one of the strongest. And it makes more sense if you're going to live here long term to actually buy something. But if you're coming to Miami for the first time, you only have a little bit of knowledge, you're not so sure where you want to live, coming to Miami and renting for the first year is definitely one of the best things you can do. One of the last things we want to think about is, what are you looking for in your lifestyle? Do you have a family? Are you looking for an apartment, a single family home? Do you get to work from home? Is it a hybrid commute? You're looking to only be 15, 20 minutes from your office. Maybe it's in Brickell, or maybe you have a new office in Coral Gables in downtown. What are your lifestyle, family, pets? Do you need a fence, yard, garden? Do you want a dog park in your community? The list goes on. Do you want to be somewhere on the water? Do you want to be next to a Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Fresh Market? You name it. Like, do you need a marina to get to? Do you want to be within 10 minutes, 5 minutes walk of the marina? Or do you want to be on the water? Another thing to notice, do you want a washer and dryer in your building? If you're looking for an apartment, do you want it on the floor? Or are you okay with finding it maybe on the first floor and you live in an 8th floor or 4th floor building? You know, The washer and dryer could be a make or break for you. Do you need parking? Because parking in South Beach or in other buildings, it doesn't exist. You're going to park on the street. They don't have attached garages. And when I say South Beach, I mean, again, the interior. Most of the buildings along West Ave or the Atlantic, they have parking garages. But it's mostly on the interior that doesn't have a parking garage. The same thing for Coconut Grove and other buildings in Coral Gables. They don't have parking garages. They have parking on the street. So it really depends what you're looking for. These details will not only help me or your real estate agent help you find the criteria that you're looking for faster, it's going to help you narrow down what you're looking for so your process is much more simpler and more streamlined and efficient. By setting this clear criteria from the beginning, it's going to help prevent you getting sidetracked or sidelined. That way you can focus on what really matters is finding the perfect spot for you, moving to Miami, and enjoying all we have to offer. And now for some bonus tips. So let's talk about timing and resources to make your move easier. First, let's think about your timeline. If you have the flexibility, I would say begin your search 60 to 90 days prior, because if you do end up moving into a single family home or a condominium that has an HOA, it's going to take them 30 days minimum to process their application. And they're going to process your application only once they receive all the documents and all the fees that's owed to them. Another great resource is finding or connecting with a local Miami real estate agent and asking them to be put on a list. That way they can send you new listings as soon as they pop up. It's a great way to stay ahead of the competition and see new listings as soon as they hit the market, and it also saves you time from going to look for listings yourself. Now, if you want to move, you don't have a bunch of time, and you actually have good credit, because we never talked about a credit score, but that's because most buildings nowadays, they don't use one specific credit score. They do look for typically 2.5 to 3 times your monthly income. So again, say you're looking for a $3,000 a month apartment, they're going to want to see $9,000 per month at 3 times the income. Another thing to note is that the condominium buildings or rental buildings only, they don't want to have any negative remarks. So if you're looking to make a move fast, we could actually find you a place within 48 hours if you're looking to move that fast or maybe something happened. And then with these buildings, not only can you move within 48 hours, we can actually get administrative fees waived. So sometimes we can save you $350. And instead of paying 3 months up front, we can get Social Security deposit, $500, $300, and I even know of some buildings, $99. Sometimes they're going to be an apartment or home that you love, and it's not going to be in your desired neighborhood, but the actual home could be the perfect fit for your lifestyle. And that's going to wrap up this video about renting and how to rent here in Miami. If you have any questions about renting here in Miami, please reach out to me. If this is your first time to the channel, my name is Anthony Spitaleri with Living in Miami. Feel free to hit subscribe, tap the bell. That way you're the first to receive notifications on everything that's happening here in Miami. If you have any questions or you're looking to make a move to Miami or elsewhere, all my contact information is below. Feel free to reach out anytime. We love to help people like you enjoy the lifestyle here in Miami and take advantage of all that this wonderful city has to offer. Until next time, I'll see you then.